Hi everyone, welcome back to Mari Clark Creations. Today I have a really fun card making process using a bunch of gorgeous products from All & Create. This is the card that I'm going to be creating for you today, and it was so much fun. I'm working with some dies from the most recent release. The die on the left here is DI95. This one is called Furry Forest, and there's 11 dies in the set. Really cool. I love how the dies emboss those mushrooms and the little furry creature there. Super, super adorable. This is what the dies look like when you get them out of the package. The newest All & Create dies are black, which is kind of cool. And you can see here all of the different pieces that come with that set. This set on the right is DI93. This one is called Woodsy Vibes. It includes 9 different dies. So you can see you've got that frame, that branchy frame again, and then all of the leafery on the border, which is very neat. And you can see how there's 2 pieces to that frame die so that you can pop out the center, which is really cool for all different types of applications that you might want to do, all kinds of different techniques. This is stamp 1164. It's called Sparkle. This is a gorgeous, just most adorable Janet Klein stamp that includes 7 different stamps, including some sentiments and some imagery there. I'm going to stamp out my sweet little girl and the images from that set that I wanted to use onto some Copic ink friendly or alcohol marker ink friendly paper. This paper is called Express It paper, and it does work really well with all kinds of different alcohol markers, so that's why I chose it. I'm also going to be using this really sweet La Dolce Vita stamp number 1133 for this little bird, and that's just another really great set too from Janet Klein. Just love the little character stamps from Janet. She does an awesome job with these images. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp out the imagery here, the stamps with some alcohol marker friendly ink. This is Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm using a combination of a bunch of different markers that I have in my stash. I'm starting out here with an Olo marker. The Olo markers really love the Express It paper, so that's why I chose that paper for this project, because I knew that I wanted to use some Olo markers along with my Copics and my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. Here you can see that I'm going to screw the 2 different colors apart here so that I can go tip to tip. I didn't have a color that blended in between these 2 very well, so I wanted to just go tip to tip and blend them together in that way. I tried to use a lighter color in the center for my highlight, but I didn't like how that looked. So I'm just going to go over with the medium color there and blend that out, and it looks good once I've done that. I'm using an E51 Copic here for the skin tones, and so I'll just color that in. You can see that I've really sped this up. This is really basic coloring. My coloring is always really, really basic. I am not a magnificent alcohol marker colorist, but I think I make it work, and I like the coloring. I like how it looks when it's done, and it's really simple and very doable. So I love the Tri-Blend markers too. I think they're great. I love that you get the 3 colors in the one barrel. So I like to work those into my process every once in a while when I'm looking for a specific color that I know that I really want. Now I've colored the petals of her little flower eye orange, and I'm just going to draw in a circle inside of her eye. When you look at the packaging on Janet's stamps, you'll notice that most of the artists, the cover design is done in that way. And you'll notice when you see a lot of designers and creatives sharing their process, they will often, or not just their process, but their projects, they'll often draw in that center in the eye. And I'm going to color it in with a light green. And then I'm going to use another darker green. I think I actually maybe even use a Copic. Nope, I'm just going to use one of the other colors that's in my Tri-Blend here to do the outline of the eye. So you can see I'm just going to really define that edge of the eye that I've drawn in with my pencil. And they don't have to be perfectly the same. Like, that's part of the whimsical nature of these stamps is they can look wonky, they can, look kind of crazy. They don't have to be perfect, which is part of what I love so much about the process of working with these stamps. I'm going to go with an aqua for her hair, which I love, and I like how that coordinates with her her stockings, her socks. So I'm just trying to work within this color palette of the pinks, the greens, the aquas. And I love that color palette. I think it's really pretty, and I think it's really fun and vibrant for the imagery that I was going for here today. So I'm just going in with a darker Copic here to add a little bit of shading, and then I'll blend that out with the lighter color. And going in with that dark pink again, this time with a Copic for her ear ties or her hair ties, and an R20 for her cheeks. And then I'm going to color in one of the bows. I didn't color all of the bows, and what I'll do with anything that I've stamped out extra, I'll just put in with a stamp set for another project. The little dots are going to be orange on that bow, and then I'm going to color the sweet little bird in with a combination of blues using my Olos and a little orange beak there to finish off that sweet little bird. Now you can see how I fussy cut those out. So the Janet Klein stamps don't have dies, so typically what I'll do is cut right on the stamp line, and then I'll take a black marker, any type of black marker, and edge the pieces that I fussy cut so that the edge of the cutting is black. So I'll do that and get those set aside, and now I'm ready to add some color to my die cuts. And this, of course, is from that Woodsy Vibes die set with all of the leaves, and I'm just using some Distress inks because I love their vibrant color, and I definitely feel like my Cracked Pistachio needs to be re-inked. So this one seems like it's struggling a little bit to get the color down, but I'm not sure if I have a re-inker for that. I need to check that out, and it definitely needs to be re-inked. So I'm just using a combination of really pretty vibrant colors here from my Distress line just to create some lovely color. I actually didn't end up using a whole lot of the green and dark blue ones that I colored in, or ink blended here, but again, if I have any extras, I'll just set them aside and use them on another project. Really love the Twisted Citron. It's so vibrant. It looks so pretty. And just going to work in some more blues. I'm going to work in some pinks and oranges here as well, because I love that color combo too. I think it's really pretty. So still hadn't given up on the blue and the Twisted Citron. I was still thinking I might use that color combo. And going in with some picked raspberry and orange. I think it's Carved Pumpkin, if you can read the lid there. I'm pretty sure that's the color of orange that I used. The pink and orange look so pretty together. I think that was my favorite color combo of all of the leaves that I colored in here. These mushrooms are so sweet. Again, I'm going to go in with the pink and the orange for all of the mushrooms. And just loving to have the extra ephemera to work with here. These ones I think are from the Furry Forest die set. And I love combining those two die sets together. I think that they work really, really well together. She had a little bit of foliage, a little bit of the, other growths, things like the mushrooms. And then there's a little fox or a little critter there with that set as well. So you could work that in to your little scene also. So I'm just going to finish up here. I did use a little bit of blue and orange here on this one, but I ended up not using this piece on the project. But again, I will just stick that aside and use that on another project for another time. But I like this color combo too. I think it's really pretty, nice and vibrant. And I think I'm just going to come in with an even smaller brush here maybe and do the center of that one. Maybe I did that off camera too. Oh no, there I go with that one. So these are waffle flower brushes that I'm using. They work really, really well. They're the small waffle flower blending brushes, so they work really well for these tiny little pieces. Working in this color combo here, which is, I believe, Cracked Pistachio and Peacock Feathers. And now we're going to go ahead and add some color to the branches. So I believe I used Gathered Twigs and Vintage Photo. So Gathered Twigs is going down first. This is a waffle flower blend, or an Altenew blending brush here that I'm using. I think it's one of their 1.5 inch brushes, I believe. And then I'm going to top that with some Vintage Photo, which is just a little bit more vibrant than the Gathered Twigs. And I'll just kind of add it so that the Gathered Twigs kind of still shows up a little bit in and around for a little bit of lighter. And then the Vintage Photo, just adding some depth and dimension there. So I'm going to colorize the leaves on the right there with the same color combos that I've already used for the loose leaves. And again, here just going in with a variety of different greens. I think I'm using some rustic wilderness here. Of course, a twisted citron. I'll go in with a little bit, I think, of some peacock feathers here, and just working in some of the same colors that I've already used, or all of the same colors. So that pink and orange combo, I'll just go over top of some of those green areas with the pink as well, just to work that pink up into that area, and the same with the greens down below. I did add a little bit of blue down here, so that's about the only blue, green, orange combination that will be on the entire card for my ink blending, I believe. And again, going in with a little bit of that pink and orange at the bottom. I'm just going to go in with one of the shader brushes from Waffle Flower and make sure that I get some of that vintage photo branch in those areas over there as well, just to bring that color in over there. And now I'm just going to go in and try to create my sky on this cutaway piece here. So just, I want to create a landscape sort of a look behind the girl. So the tumble glass is going to be the sky here. And I'm going to go in now with this stencil that I showed you. Gorgeous stencil. I love this from All & Create. Really beautiful. I'm just doing a tone on tone. So I went really light with the tumble glass for the first layer. And now I'm going in more heavily with that same tumbled glass and the stencil. So it's just going to show up as a tone on tone pattern, really nice and subtle. In the background, you're not really even barely going to be able to see it, but it does add just that little bit of interest and texture to the background. So I really like that. I love this pattern. I think it's perfect. And I'm going to go in with some green. I think this is Rustic Wilderness that I'm using at the bottom. Really light to begin with. I'm going to blend it into the blue a little bit. So this is going to be the impression of the grass. And then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, actually, that was a lighter green. I maybe started with cracked pistachio there. And now I'm going in with the Rustic Wilderness for the edge. This is another stamp from All & Create. I love this one so much. You can see the number on it there. Gorgeous. This is perfect for a little background imagery. So I want this to be subtle. So I'm going to go again with the same color of ink, some of the same colors of ink that I've been using. This is a little bit darker than the tumble glass. This one is Peacock Feathers. So I'm going to go in with Peacock Feathers Distress ink onto that stamp. I'm not using a block or anything, just going right onto the pack with the packaging still attached. Now, these are some of the ephemera from this last release. This one is called Vibrant Leaves. It's EP84, and you get 59 leaves in that set. I pulled that out. I wasn't sure if I was going to use those on this project. I end up not using any of them on this particular project, but they are gorgeous. I couldn't resist those when I was purchasing product from this release because they're gorgeous. There's another set called Timeworn Leaves. I can't remember if I show that on camera here or not, but it's another set, and it has 35 pieces of ephemera in it. The colors are a little less vibrant in that set. So I'm going to go ahead with my A2 size card base here. This is just a top folding A2 size card base. I used my Misty glue press to glue this down just flat onto my card base. And then I'm going to pop up the inner part there just to add a little bit of dimension to my background. So I'm just popping that up. I've taken the release paper off of those foam squares, and I'm just going to fit that into the placement. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of white splatter here. So this is just some watered down white paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and splatter this. I'm just using my hand to shield my desk because I've got a lot of equipment, a lot of expensive cameras and a computer and all that kind of stuff around my work area here. So I like to kind of shield my area so that I don't get my paint everywhere. I just glued that one mushroom down flat with my glue, popped up that leaf. I'm going to pop up the top of this second little leafery piece. That little mushroom is just going to be poking out from the back. You'll be able to see it poking out there. And then I'll superimpose another mushroom in the front. And again, just using that foam adhesive on the back to go ahead and pop that up and give it a little bit more dimension. I'll put a little foam square at the bottom of that mushroom once I have the top place there, and get that all adhered down. So we can see the scene starting to take place, or starting to come together here. I'm going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella and add that to a few areas on my girl, not everywhere, just here and there. And I wanted to use some white gel pen. So you need to put your Wink of Stella on first and then your white gel pen, because the Wink of Stella will actually remove your white gel pen. So it's important to put that sparkle on first and then go in and add your white gel pen details wherever you want them. So I'm adding some polka dots to her dress and her bow, a highlight to her eyes, some polka dots to her hair ties, and I think that's it for the white gel pen. So now there's a nice little scene for her to be popped into. I'm going to add some foam adhesive onto the back of my girl here, and that'll just give her a little bit of dimension as well on the scene. So I'll just put a couple of those squares on there and get her into place. So this is always the fun part, when you get to take all of the different pieces that you've put together and add them onto your project. So I'll get her added in there. I just kind of wanted to make sure that she wasn't too high up on the card, because I do have some details to add up there also. So just kind of wanted to keep her a little bit lower. I'm going to add the bow onto her hair with a couple of foam squares there as well, and give that a little bit of dimension. Super cute. Just going to lift up the edges of that a little bit. And I've die cut out some, next I wanted to add just a little bit of a shadow underneath her. So the shadow that she might be casting onto the grass, I think that just makes it a little more realistic. So I used a little bit of a Copic marker, and now I'm blending on a little bit over top of that, a little bit of the darker green ink with the shader brush from Waffle Flower. And you can just see that just makes it look like, she's standing on the ground and she's casting a shadow. It just makes it look a little bit more realistic than just having her stand on the grass with no indication of her presence there. So I'm just going to blend that out until I'm happy with that. So this is another die. This is die set number 50. It's called Sunshine Splendour, and there's 10 dies in that set, and it includes a bunch of different cloud dies, which is great. And I'm going to just take one of the smaller dies. There's the outline for that cloud, which I could have left it at that, but I wanted to put the center in the cloud as well. And that's just a little spot I wanted to add for that bird, which I'm going to pop up on a foam square as well. Add a little bit of Wink of Stella to the body of the little birdie there and the wings to give it a little bit of sparkle. And now I can start adding in those die cut leaves. So I'm just going to add these around the right side of my girl, and just kind of spreading them out around based on the color and the size. And again, some of them are going to be just adhered down flat, and some will be adhered with some foam adhesive. At this point, I'm just kind of trying to get an idea of where I want them to be. And once I've got them all adhered down, I'm going to go in again with my white paint and my fan brush and just splatter some more white on there. And I just love that splatter. I think it just kind of brings everything together and adds a nice cohesive element to everything. I'm also going to add a little bit of gold splatter, gold watercolor, and again with my fan brush. This is one of the newer Sizzix Vault releases from Tim Holtz. It's the one with the TV. And I took that inner part of the TV screen and I die cut that out for my sentiment. I'm going to just put that into my Misty, and I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the Sparkle stamp set, stamp number 1164, which says, "Be happy, be bright, be you." I'm going to stamp that out. I'm going to ink it up with some Versamark ink. I didn't want the sentiment background here, that white cardstock, to be white on that blue sky. So I'm going to do some heat embossing here. I'm going to stamp this out with some Versamark ink, like I said, and I have treated that paper with an anti-static powder tool, FYI. just so that the powder only sticks to the ink. I'm going to heat up that white powder that I used. It's an opaque white embossing powder. I'll heat that up and melt it with my Wow embossing gun here. And that's going to melt that. I'll let that cool off. And then I'll take my tumbled glass ink, which is the same color as the sky in the scene. And I'm just going to go over top of that again with that Alt New 1.5 inch blending brush there and blend that on. I'll just take a paper towel or a cloth and go over top of that embossing, that white embossing, again, just to get the ink, any of the ink off of the white embossing. And I'm going to just put a little foam square on the back of that and put that up in that area there. And you can just see it blends a little more nicely there with the background instead of being stark white next to that cloud. I didn't want the competition of the white on the sentiment with the white on the cloud. And I like how that looks. Friends, that's going to finish off my process. I did link up in the description box below to the products that I've used if you want to check those out. If you want to purchase any of the products, those are affiliate links, which just means that I get a small commission if you purchase with those links, and it's at no extra cost to you. Thanks for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you subscribe to my channel if you liked what you saw today, and you click that notification bell to be notified of future videos. Take care, friends, and I will see you again. Bye-bye.